Schedule 9, line 135. Closing costs, title insurance, survey, home warranty, special assessments. A, cost to be paid by seller. Documentary stamp taxes and surtax on deed, if any. Owner's policy and charges, if paragraph 9C1 is checked. Title search charges, if paragraph 9C3 is checked. Municipal lien search, if paragraph 9C1 or 3 is checked. Charges for FIRPTA, withholding and reporting. HOA, condominium association estoppel fees. Recording and other fees needed to cure title. Seller's attorney fees, or other blank. Prior to closing, seller is unable to meet the as-is maintenance requirement as required in paragraph 11. A sum equal to 125% of estimated costs to meet the as-is maintenance requirement shall be escrowed at closing. If actual costs to meet the as-is maintenance requirement exceed escrowed amount, seller shall pay such actual costs. Any unused portion of escrowed amounts shall be returned to seller. So that outlines the things that a seller could expect to pay, but of course it is a contract and everything is up for negotiation.
Yeah,
right?
And you'll notice some of the items that are listed in this section. Next to it, it says if 9C1 is checked, if 9C3 is checked, or 2 is checked. So it really will all be heavily dependent on when we get to section 9C, what box we check off, and that box is going to designate or determine who designates, buyer or seller, designates the closing agent and pays for certain fees. So it's not that all of these fees are applicable for the seller, but certainly going to be things that they should be able to expect. And of course, like you said, everything is negotiable. Feel free to strike through these items. A lot of times there's that other section that's there, there's a blank space. So if your broker charges a processing fee, make sure you add that in there so that it's not a surprise at the end. A lot of people add it in the additional terms, but there's a space in the closing cost section to be utilized just for that.
And you see that a lot, you know, you see that on the MLS sometimes. There are fees disclosed that need to also be accounted for here.
Totally. And I feel that it's necessary just to add that when closing costs is everyone's favorite section, okay? Closing costs is everyone's favorite topic because everyone's about their money, and I get it. So it's really important that up front, when you're talking to a seller, they have an expectation on what they're going to bring home. So obviously there's a commission typically that's right off the top. And then you can expect that a seller is going to pay 1% to 2% in closing costs after that. So I'd say it's safe to say anywhere between 7% and 8% in closing costs as a total, not including their loan payoff. So what's not here is their loan payoff, and that could be a huge significant portion of the gross purchase price. So use resources to get net sheets to your sellers. Really walk this through because the seller is going to be able to determine whether they want to accept a purchase price and whether they want to accept an offer based on what their true net is going to be. So going over these closing costs is big. The first one that's listed on here is documentary stamps tax. The Florida Department of Revenue charges a doc stamps tax on all deeds that are recorded. It's almost like a sales tax, I would think you could call it or equate it to when explaining it. And the way that it's calculated is it's 70 cents per $100, unless you're in Miami-Dade, and then it's 60 cents per $100. But that's going to be a cost associated on any deed that gets recorded in any conveyance.
It's not something that the clients can get around.
No,
The seller can't get around that.
Exactly. I mean, arguably, everything, like we said, is negotiable.
So well, they can have the buyer pay for it, right? That's what we mean. I mean, it has to be paid one way or the other. Somebody has to pay it. It's not like something the title company can like waive.
No. It's not. It's not a cost incurred that is optional in any way. It does need to be paid, but of course, if you want to strike it and put it on the buyer side or vice versa.
Well, you suggested seller, some sort of a net sheet. A lot of title companies offer tools that you can go right onto their website, plug in all the details, and it'll instantly print out for you a seller net sheet that kind of has expected costs of what all of the fees may be and what their net may look like depending on the contract price.
Right. So if you're going to go do this in preparation for a listing appointment or in conjunction with an offer so your seller knows what the true net is, use Section A as a guideline for what numbers you need to plug into that net sheet. And always ask your seller if they have an existing mortgage and what the principal balance is on it so that you can account for that too.